entered with the Trust Bank back then, and this was actually between the Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning and Trust Bank, and the agreement was to the effect that the bank shall place cashiers at designated collection points of ministry departments and agencies to receive payments from its clients for services provided, and no commission or service charge according to that agreement shall be paid by the Ministry of Finance and the MDAs for the services provided. Now, in the report of the Auditor General, contrary to the terms of the agreement, they noted in the report that between March 2010 and December 2011, management had paid a total amount of 82,599 to the Trust Bank cashiers as salaries through direct debits to the DVLA accounts with the bank. Now, the Auditor General is pointing out that under the agreement, there should not be any commission charge on the money collected by the Trust Bank on behalf of government. I remember Trust Bank has already been absorbed by the Eco Bank. And for that reason, DVLA, according to them, acting on the recommendation of the Auditor General, wrote to Eco Bank for them to refund this amount of money in question. That's 82,589. Now, Eco Bank, in a letter dated July 2015, stated that they were not party to the contract arrangement and therefore cannot refund the money accrued as a result of the arrangement between the DVLA and the TTB. And they brought a copy of this letter to show as evidence to the committee. Now, what the committee is saying that once Ecobank took over, TTB also took over their assets and liabilities. For that reason, they cannot say that because they were not party to the agreement signed between TTB and Ministry of Finance, they would not refund this amount of money in question. But DVLA is saying that they've passed pressure on Ecobank. Ecobank is still insisting that they will not pay the money. What has happened right now is that the committee has directed that DVLA take the matter to court and then force Ecobank to pay this amount of money, which is outstanding according to the Auditor General. That's 82,595 Ghana cedis, Francis.
Right. There was a subplot, Elton, of Mr. Isaac Isiama raising issues with some staff who've been transferred and yet they are on DVLA's payroll. What was that also about?
Well, the DVLA, according to the acting chief executive, they operate in different parts of the country. Now, what happened in this case was that some management personnel were transferred from one operating area to the other, but their names were not affected to have been transferred from their original duty post to other duties. So what happened was that in some cases they received double salary, and the amount of money involved is 12,000 Ghana cedis. Now, DVLA explained that because these individuals are still in service, they have their own internal mechanism to retrieve the money, and that no money has been lost as a result. They are fully implementing the recommendation of the Auditor General, and these individuals are still working and they are taking the money back. The money involved is 12,000 Ghana cedis.
All right. So we know that apart from DVLA, the Deputy Transport Minister, Joyce Bawah Mokhtari, also appeared before the committee, Elton. What were some of the issues that the committee raised with her ministry?
Well, as it is with the practice with the Public Accounts Committee, they invite the minister, if there is any infraction against a department under a minister, under a ministry, the assumption is that the minister takes supervisory duty over all agencies under it. So the minister come and represent the ministry, and then he or she is supported by the sector head. So Joyce Bawah was there as the deputy minister in charge of transport, but indeed the infractions, according to the Auditor General, were occasioned by the activities of DVLA. So she was there to help them respond to the issues raised by the Auditor General. But I might also say that right after the Transport Ministry was the Local Government and Rural Development Ministry. The minister was there to respond to audit query raised against the Community Water and Sanitation Board. Now, according to the Auditor General's report, there is some 74,000 Ghana cedi outstanding water bill that they are unable to collect. And indeed, they were asked as to what they were doing to collect this money. In the words of the Deputy Local Government Minister, Emmanuel Kofi Ajikum, they've been collecting the money, but they are facing difficulties. He narrated an encounter they have had of the Ghana Police Service in some of the districts that the community water and sanitation is operating. According to him, the police service in some of these areas, Hafastini, Bibiani, and Miaso, they've simply refused to pay the money they owe in water consumption. Indeed, he told the committee that whenever their officers, their revenue officers went around to collect the money, in some cases, they disconnect them. The police will arrest them for no charge and then put them in custody. And this has, affected their revenue generation flow. Now, the direction is that they report this particular matter to the Inspector General of Police for the IGP to take out this case, because in the words of the chairman of the committee, the police is exhibiting arrogance and, not respecting the role of these revenue collecting agencies.
Okay. All right, Elton, we'll surely bring our viewers excerpts of today's sitting, but what's happening tomorrow? Who is appearing before the committee tomorrow?
My information that the police administration will appear because there are some pressing issues that they also need to respond. Remember that last week, the military high command was there to respond to some issues raised against them by the Auditor General. The police will be there, and they will be led by the Interior Minister to respond to some of the issues. My expectation is that the IGP will have to respond directly to this what the committee chair described as a intransigent position adopted by the police, even as they are not paying the water they consume. They've adopted a position where they arrest revenue collectors who come around to disconnect them for non-payment of water bills.
That'll be interesting to see how that pans out tomorrow. But thank you, Parliamentary Correspondent Elton Bobe. We can now bring you some of the highlights of today's public account sitting.
Says that he received an amount of about 12,000 Ghana cedis. Has that been paid back?
Still a staff. The only thing is that his pay has not been moved at that time from controller. I mean, so that you continue receiving his.
So when was it ratified?
I think on government accountant general's payroll. So we normally have to write for them to take the necessary and it takes some little of time. So when the guy was transferred from Sunyani Techiman to Kekos, it took a little bit of time for us to write for them to do the changes. But it has been addressed now.
And I tell you, you are lying to the committee because you are saying the action was taken in 2011. It's a lie.
I don't know what information you want, but that's information I have, please.
Because this is 2011 account, which will have been audited in 2012. So how come you took the action in 2011 to rectify it?
Oh, sorry, to 2012.
Have you withdrawn your earlier statement?
Yes, my lord.
For me, it looks as if when we begin to hear this thing coming up from the auditors, it's like the auditors don't know what they're about, with the greatest of respect. Because my understanding of audit is that after everything, you are given 1 full month. 1 full month to clear yourself before they prepare the audit report. So if after 1 full month, you've not been able to clear yourself, and it finds its way into the Auditor General's report, then you come here and then you tell us that the whole action was taken immediately. It appears it doesn't reconcile with whatever they do. That is my take. And for the sake of the auditors and the general public, we need to put this out very clearly for people to understand. Because if you say it was taken immediately, what is your definition of immediately? Yes, what's your definition of immediately? Immediately means what? Was it after 1 month? Was it after 4 months? Or your definition of immediately means after 4 months it was immediately?
Mr. Chairman, we've noted the comments, and subsequently I'm sure the technical people will provide specific timelines for when these decisions were taken. Thank you.
Right, so those are some highlights of today's Public Accounts Committee sitting. The Deputy Transport Minister and the DVLA boss appeared before the Public Accounts Committee. At this point, we'll go for a break and bring you sports. But later, after sports, I'll tell you about another new game that you may consider on the board for table tennis. Details after the break.